You're going up against the Stephen Curry after the performance that he just had. What are your thoughts on how this series is going to play out for you guys?
I think this is going to be a huge test for the Lakers. When I look back at what the Lakers did to the Grizzlies, I was genuinely surprised at how effective that they were in that series. And I really think, looking back to that Memphis series, I think winning that first road game for them was absolutely critical because they were able to win their two home games, go up 3-1 in that series, and really put all the pressure on Memphis to get back into that series. Now, when it comes to this series between the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, I think it's going to have to be a similar type of mindset. They're going to have to go up to San Francisco, go up to the Chase Center, and definitely steal one of these road games. Because if they're in a situation where they go down 2-0 in the series right off rip, there's a very good chance that Golden State can go on the road. Granted, I know that Golden State hasn't been the greatest road team this year, but Golden State showed that they can win road games when the pressure is on the line. And they did it twice against the Kings. Now, granted, the playoff inexperience that Sacramento had is not necessarily the same compared to the Lakers because the Lakers have plenty of playoff experience with LeBron James leading the way and Anthony Davis. But when it comes to the rest of the Lakers squad here, there's definitely going to be some playoff inexperience that guys are going to have to adjust to, especially, going into the second round of the playoffs. I think this series is going to be very competitive, though, because when I look at what the Lakers can present against the Warriors, I think, are going to have a very difficult time slowing down Anthony Davis. Because when you look at Jaren Jackson Jr., Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of the best defensive players in the NBA. And he had a very difficult time guarding AD because there were multiple games where Anthony Davis popped off and was one of the primary offensive forces for the Lakers. When it comes to what Kevon Looney presents AD, if Kevon Looney and Draymond Green are not giving AD fits offensively, AD can have a very successful second round playoff series as far as I see it. And when it goes to the Lakers, I think this is going to have to be a similar type of performance that we saw from their role players against the Grizzlies, because their role players were absolutely critical. You saw Rory Hachimura have some great games. Austin Reeves had some highlight moments. D'Angelo Russell was absolutely dynamite in that Game 6 win where he dropped 31 points against the Grizzlies. The Lakers are going to have to get these types of performances consistently against the Warriors because the Warriors can put up 115 to 120 points. And if the Lakers aren't knocking down their shots, you're going to see some of these games end in Lakers losses. When it comes to Golden State is going to have to get more contributions from just Steph and Clay, because Steph was absolutely phenomenal in Game 7, dropped 50 points, but the rest of the team relatively struggled outside of Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney was really their second best player behind Steph in that Game 7 performance. So they're going to have to get consistent performance from Klay Thompson. I thought Klay was pretty consistent throughout that series against Sacramento, except for Game 7. He relatively struggled. And they're going to have to get huge performances from Jordan Poole, which Kev was talking about this earlier. Jordan Poole has essentially been a no-show for Golden State in the playoffs so far. They cannot allow that to continue going up against the Lakers, because if the Lakers are able to get Jordan Poole in a funk once again in this series, the Warriors are going to have a difficult time scoring when it's really just Steph, Clay, and then maybe Andrew Wiggins as your primary scorers. So overall, I do expect this series to be somewhere around 6 to 7 games. It has the potential to go 7. But if I'm looking at the state of things right now, I think the better team so far has been the Lakers than Golden State. Golden State was really pushed in that Sacramento series. And depending on their adjustment from going to the first round to the second round, I do think the Lakers have a slight advantage over Golden State. But I think it's really dependent on whether or not the Lakers can get one of those road wins within the first 2 games of the series. If they're able to do that, I think the Lakers have the upper hand in this series. So as far as I see this series playing out, I'm going to favor the Lakers. I'm going to say they're going to win this series in either 6 or 7 games. Could be very competitive. This does renew the Steph LeBron rivalry once again. It's just crazy that both of these guys are going head to head in the Western Conference. Usually we see these guys go at it in the NBA Finals. But overall, I expect a very good series. This is definitely going to be one of the highlighted series of the second round. But I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to say the Lakers win this series in 6 to 7 games. That's just how I see it.
It's going to be a great series. I have no doubt about that. I saw some tweets today where Laker fans were like, we're not De'Aaron Fox and Demonis Sabonis. And then like a Warriors fan quote tweeted it and said, we're not Ja Morant and Dylan Brooks. So I laughed pretty hard, but at the same time, both teams have pros and cons, struggles, benefits, matchups favorable. But I think the Lakers will take this series, and here's why. I think they're going to do similarly what they did to John Morant. And they're going to probably put Vanderbilt to chase Steph around as long as they possibly can. I believe that because of the depth of the Lakers bench, which is something I never thought I would say until that trade happened, to where Rui, Schroeder, I know Reeves isn't on the bench, but he's not someone that would normally contribute. But someone like Austin Reeves, they are going to have to score anywhere from 15 to 20 points on a regular basis between each of them because you have to account for if Steph's having an off night, Clay's going to be there. If Clay's having an off night, hopefully Jordan Poole will get some favorable matchups. Andrew Wiggins is shown to contribute. The matchup to watch for me isn't Vanderbilt and Steph. To me, it's easily going to be Anthony Davis and Kevon Looney. If Anthony Davis is held ineffective, if he is going to have one of those games where he has single-digit points or an inefficient night from the field, I think that the Warriors have an advantage in certain settings. But again, you still have to equate for LeBron James. I don't believe anybody on the Warriors can guard him. If LeBron James puts his head down and gets Draymond Green into foul trouble or Andrew Wiggins, this is going to be a very long series, or should I say a very quick series for the Lakers because we already know Draymond and LeBron have their history. We know that Draymond Green is going to be someone that's going to run his mouth. We know Draymond's going to be very physical. And the refs were quick to suspend him for one of those games because of his previous history, because of his prior engagements, whatever the case may be. So if things get chippy quickly in this series, don't be surprised if Draymond Green is tossed, if he fouls out in a couple of these games, because again, the Lakers know the key to winning this game is getting Kevon Looney and Draymond Green off the floor. Anthony Davis will do what he needs to do in his matchups. Anthony Davis is also probably one of the best one of the best interior defenders thus far in the postseason. I believe he had 26 blocks, which is a franchise record for the Lakers, which surpassed Shaq. So he is somebody that is very assertive at the rim. And for the Warriors, their key to success is, like I said, man, those role players have to step up. Jordan Poole cannot have single-digit performances and inefficient nights from the field. Stephen Curry cannot be putting up 30 to 35 shots a game. Draymond Green needs to be on the floor and contributing in all the ways that he normally does, whether that is a few steals, a few blocks, a couple rebounds, some assists, maybe getting double-digit points on a regular basis. I don't know. But Klay Thompson going 4 of 19, unacceptable. Andrew Wiggins shooting as inefficiently as he did, cannot happen. Will there be bad nights? 100%. But again, I just think that the depth that the Lakers have, especially if D'Angelo Russell gets it going, heaven forbid, D'Lo starts getting going and the ice in his veins starts to get flowing. It's like you got to pick a three-headed monster. Do you go after and try to, do you try to pressure D'Angelo Russell off the dribble and force him to kick that out? If he kicks it out, do you have to rely on Anthony Davis on the block? If LeBron James is hitting jump shots and attacking the rim, what are you supposed to do here? I think you let LeBron do what he does, and you got to let the role players beat you. You cannot let LeBron James have one of those days where he's got 28, 9. You can't have him go for 40. It's to me, this is what I'm talking about. The matchup is very conflicting, and I know I just contradicted myself. I'd rather give LeBron James those jump shots. I'd rather give him those open looks because once he gets his head down and he starts running, you got to pray for whoever's guarding him and standing in front of that rim because he showed in that Memphis series he was not scared to attack the paint. He did not care who was there. And I mean, obviously that 2020 game that he had in game 4, was it, Kyle?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I believe it was game 4.
I think it was game 4. Regardless, whichever game it was, you can see that he's still very active on the glass as well. So LeBron James is reinventing himself yet again and showing that he doesn't need to necessarily go out there and give you what he did in the 2015-2016 finals when he was averaging 38, 9, 36, 8, 9, whatever the stat line was, which was just ridiculous. LeBron is still LeBron James. And again, I'm probably going to go with the Lakers in 6. Not to discredit what the Warriors are and what they've done and what they've accomplished, but again, when you talk about what each team brings to the table, if Steph's not going for 40 or 50 points, I don't necessarily know how they're going to keep up, especially if their bigs get into foul trouble. But again, I got the Lakers in 6, and I think that they're going to advance to the Western Conference Finals.